So today we are going to start critical section problem, right? And before that we need to understand what is critical section, right? So to understand critical section, we already discussed it in previous topic, which is process synchronization. Here we discussed two processes, producer and consumer, right? And in the producer and consumer process, both are sharing one common variable, which is counter, and we discussed there what is the problem there, right? So in the coding which we are uh, which we are seeing in the screen, you can see that counter is the shared variable, right? And both are accessing counter, and the problem occurs when both are updating counter at the same time, right? So this portion of the code of a particular process where that particular process is doing some critical task over a variable, right? So that is called its critical section, and we don't want critical section to be executed by more than one process at the same time, right? Because if both processes, like in our case producer and consumer, if both will execute this critical section one after another, there would not be any problem. But because they are accessing or they are altering this shared variable, counter variable, at the same time, that's why the problem occurs, and that which leads to the data inconsistency, and which leads to the two values of a same variable. Like in previous example, we already saw two values we found at the transaction number 6. We found that counter has two values, one is 4, one is 6, right? And this is the problem, because there should be only one value for any variable in the system at any time, right? At the same time, there could not be any two values for a same variable,
सेल्फी
right?
नहीं तेरी
Right,
स्क्रीन
guys?
प्रेजेंट नहीं
Okay, so let us discuss it. It is critical section first. Will the problem you understood that critical section should not be executed concurrently by more than one process at a time, right? So this is the critical section problem. But before, we first understand what is critical section, right? So let us discuss critical section, right? As we understood, segment of code in which process may be doing or performing critical task such that changing common variable, updating a table, writing a file, etc. Common tasks, critical tasks of its execution is called critical section of that particular process, of that process. right? As we discussed, that any segment of the code where any process is doing some critical task, right? Like changing common variable, writing to the file, etc., is called critical section of that particular process. Like in our example, producer and buffer, producer and consumer problem, we have pseudocode for both, and in the both pseudocode, we may see that producer and consumer both are doing some changes to the common variable, which is counter, right? So this may be the critical section of these processes, because both are changing a common variable in its code. So in the code itself, code of producer, or code of consumer, we can see that where it is changing common variable here, it is changing common variable at the line number 1 2 3 4 5 6 6, line number 6. It is changing counter. Producer is incrementing it and consumer is decrementing it. So we can say that this line number 6 is the critical section of these processes, right? So segment of code in which process may performing critical task of its execution is called critical section of that particular process, right? Understood, guys? So whenever we are dealing with cooperating processes, we must ensure, or in other words, for processes to be cooperating in nature, following condition must be ensured. And which is that condition? That condition is simply mutual exclusion. That condition is known as mutual exclusion. Or in other word, we can say when a when a process is executing its critical section, or in short we can write it CS, no other process is to be allowed to execute its critical section. So whenever a process is executing its critical section, no other process is to be allowed to execute its critical section. This is now known as mutual exclusion, right? This condition is known as mutual exclusion. See, uh, the problem we are facing, because these two, producer and consumer processes, are executing its critical section at the same time. That's why the problem occurs. If they are executing their critical section one after another in any sequential manner, there would not be any problem, right? So that's why we want that any more than one process could not execute its critical section, right? That's why we must ensure when a process is executing, like in our example, when a producer is executing its critical section, so consumer process should not be allowed to execute its critical section, right? Or in other word, we can write it write it also: execution of critical section by processes must be mutually exclusive exclusive in time domain. Both means the same, right? Upper line and this line means the same. Execution of critical section by the processes must be mutually exclusive. That means no two process at any time moment of time there should not be any overlap between execution of critical section by two processes, right? That means uh, more than one process is not allowed to execute its critical section, right? We cannot say that it is a sharing variable or not, because at any time moment system cannot identify between multiple processes that they are sharing some variable or not. But for uh, for being safe side, or for ensuring mutual exclusion, it wants that whatever the critical section it has, there should not be there 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 should be a condition that only one process is allowed to execute its critical section at a single time moment, right? So for ensuring these, the steps followed are like that. What we can do for these steps to be followed is like that. Any process, we can uh, we can divide general structure of a particular process in three parts, right? uh, First, maybe process, before going to its critical section, process must ask permission to get into the critical section, right? So we can write process must request permission to enter its critical section. Code for this section is called entry section, or sometimes we write it es, right? Second, entry section is followed by exit section, or permission to exit critical section, right? Entry section, exit section, and critical section. There will be three sections, and one last more section will be there, which is called remainder section. Except these three. Remaining code except entry section and exit section is called remainder section. Remainder section. So for ensuring these conditions for mutual exclusion, what we simply categorized or divide code of a particular process, code structure of a particular process in following structure, right? Like, do first there will be entry section or ES, right? There will be entry section. After that, process will get into the critical section. After that, process will get into the exit section, and except these three sections, the remaining code will be remainder section or RS, right? Remainder section. So the general structure we followed for ensuring mutual exclusion is like that. In the code, any process which want to execute its critical section will first ask to enter critical section, right? And after getting permission from the OS side, it will get inside the critical section and it will first ask for the permission from the OS at entry section. In the code section where it is asking for the permission is called entry section, right? Entry section. After that, it
सर
will it will
स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है।
after that it will enter to it itself into its critical section, and after executing, when it completes its execution of critical section, it will exit or ask for the exit of critical section in the exit section, right? And except these three sections in the code of any particular process, the rest code is referred as remainder section, where it is not doing any critical tasks, right? So whatever the critical task it is doing, it will come under critical section, right? Here at this point in time, it process will be doing some critical task, or it is writing a file, or it is updating something, right? And except these three sections, it will the remaining code of the process is called remainder section, where it is not doing any critical task. So this is a general architecture of the general structure of a typical process. And why we are understanding it, because we are going to discuss critical section problem, right? So before going to the critical section problem, we must ensure mutual exclusiveness in the execution of critical section, right? So that's why we just divided the typical structure of process into following four segments, right? First segment is entry section, which is followed by critical section, which is followed by exit section, and which is followed by remainder section. So this is a general structure of a typical process. So you must remember this structure, because it will be beneficial to you when we are studying in the forthcoming lecture critical section problem, when we will study critical section problem in the forthcoming lectures. You must know that there will be these sections, right? Because our total discussion of future future topics on critical section or process synchronization will be based on these this structure, right? So you must understand that there will be one entry section, which is followed by critical section, which is followed by exit section, and the after these three sections there will the remaining code of the process will be referred as remainder section, right? So the problem, now I think you understood the problem, critical section problem. That means critical section problem states that if any at any time moment, if two processes will execute their critical section at the same time, then there will be some conflict, right? Which leads to the inconsistent values of any particular variable. Like in our case producer consumer problem, what we understood that both are sharing a common variable counter, and they both are altering counter variable, right? That means that that particular line of that code is called critical section of that particular process, right? So in and both are the problem, why the problem is occurring, because both are accessing, both are doing alteration to the counter at the same time, right? So in the last, what we found that we are getting two values for the same variable, right? Due to the consumer we are getting 4, right? And due to the producer process we are getting 6, value of 6 for counter. And at the same time, if a system wants to persist the value for counter, it will be confused which value it should persist, right? Which value it should uh, save, right? So let's say the problem is, if the system will save 4 for the counter, then the producer process will be in difficult position. And if it will accept the value of 6 for counter, or save the value of 6 for the counter, then there will be a problem for consumer process. That's why we want that there should not be two values or inconsistent values for any particular variable. And why it is happening? Because producer and consumer process both are doing critical tasks at the same time on common variable. So that was the critical section problem, right? So what we can do to solve this critical section problem, any solution, if you want to give any solution for this particular problem, synchronization problem, critical section problem, this solution must ensure three conditions. Solution to critical section problem must satisfy three requirements. For any solution given for critical section problem, these three requirements or conditions must be fulfilled. First is mutual exclusion. As already discussed, mutual exclusion, that what it means, that solution provide mutual exclusion, right? What it means that in the solution, if any one process is executing its critical section, then there should not be any other process which is allowed to execute its critical section, right? That means the solution must provide mutual exclusion, right? So in other word, we can write it, if uh, let's say P1, if P1 is executing its critical section, then no other process can be executing its critical section. As we already discussed, that more than one process is not allowed to execute their critical section at the same time in the system, right? So your solution must provide mutual exclusion, right? First condition is that. Second condition is progress. Let me write it first, then we'll discuss what progress means. If no process is executing its critical section and some process wish to enter their critical section, enter their critical section, then only those process that are not executing their remainder section, their remainder remainder section can participate in in decision on which will enter its critical section next, and along with that, this selection cannot be postponed indefinitely. Indefinitely. Right. This is the statement for the progress condition, and let me write third condition first. Then we will discuss these both in the next lecture. What is third condition is simply there should be bounded waiting. There should not be indefinite waiting for any process in the system, right? Your solution must provide bounded waiting for all processes, not for selected processes. So what did it say states? It simply states there there exists a bound on number on number of times times that other processes other processes are allowed to enter their critical section after after a process a process has made process has made a request to enter its critical section, and before that request is granted. So these are the three conditions which any solution to the critical section problem must satisfy, right? First is mutual exclusion, we already discussed it, and second is progress. What it states, it simply states if no process is executing critical section and some processes wishes to enter their critical section, then only those processes that are not executing their remainder section can participate in decision on which will enter its critical section next, right? And this selection cannot be postponed indefinitely. We'll discuss it by tomorrow in the tomorrow lecture, right, in detail with example. Third condition it must satisfy will be bounded weighting, that there should be a bounded weight for all the processes. What it states, it simply states there exists a bound on number of times that other processes are allowed to enter their critical section, right, after a process has made the request to enter its critical section and before the request is granted. That means there should not be any starvation in the system for any particular process if a process wants to execute their critical section, right? So these are the this was the critical section problem we discussed, and we discussed the general architecture or general structure of typical process, which we already we defined in four section in terms of four section: entry section, where process is asking for entering in the critical section, and then next is critical section where it is executing its critical section. That means it is doing some critical task for the on any variable, and after that, when once it's completed its critical section, it will ask for the exiting critical section, and after that it will execute its remainder section, right? And for solving for understanding future topics on this process synchronization, this structure should be in your mind, right? So remember, always remember, and put it in your head when we will discuss in the programs, right? And after that we discussed solution to the critical section problem. Whatever the, if you are giving any solution to the critical section problem, that solution must satisfy these three requirements. First is mutual exclusion, next is progress, and third is boundary routing. We will discuss it tomorrow, like in tomorrow lecture, right? So I think you got my point, and by using example of producer consumer problem, I think I made it clear to you, right? Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you.